I'm back with part 2 of my dollar store yarn bag that I was making. In case you forgot, this is the bag, and it has this other side. It's got this other side, a classic granny square, and this side's like the sunburst style granny square. So now that we got the whole bag done, I got my brass rings on there that I love. We're gonna go ahead and line it. So I'll kind of show my process on hand sewing liner into a crochet bag. It's super simple. I just use a basic running stitch, and I'll show that while I'm sewing. Just giving a little update on my spooky season drop. I kind of changed it to a made to order type of thing because, like I said in my last video, between work, YouTube, making like Instagram and TikTok content, and market prep, it's just a lot. So everything is made to order now. So far I just have my spooky split hexie cardigans on my Etsy, and I got some orders and I'm working hard at those. If anybody from my Instagram is subscribed to my channel and you voted in my poll, I just wanted to show this bag in person. Look how beautiful that is. I mean, not to like toot my own horn, but this is so cute. I just have to finish putting the little bobble stitches on in the corners. And yeah, I had a poll on Instagram because I was like, I cannot decide if I want to do my favorite Romanian cord straps on here and make it green and yellow, or if I want to do just like the classic single crochet, you know, strap. So if you voted, thank you. It was just something on my story. So anyways, I'll stop ranting. Let's go ahead and start lining this bag so we can see what it looks like. I'll also show how to make the Romanian cord strap as well because it's super fast. It works up so quick and it looks awesome. So it's my favorite. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this liner that we bought. I think this one will match pretty good with the lavender color. This is 100% cotton, which is cool. It's soft. I'm hoping that it's big enough for the bag I just made. I didn't really think about that, so. And the friggin' sticker better not get stuck to it all shittily. Let's see. Don't do me dirty now. Okay, it's coming off. Good, 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 good. Good, good. Okay. Let's see, is this big enough? Oh my gosh. I'm nervous. Don't know. Okay, good, good, good. Hey, that's a pretty decent sized piece of fabric. I think it said it was like 18 by 24 or something. So it should be perfect. Yes. Amazing. So I am going to hand sew this in. Sorry if it's a little lopsided. The camera's at a weird angle. So what I do when I'm hand sewing my liner in is I'll bring the bag to the very bottom of the liner. If it's closed on the bottom, that's amazing. Always use that because then it's one less side that you have to sew together. I usually leave like maybe a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the side so that I could like fold it maybe this much. Let me get my little tomato. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this side. I don't want to use these small scissors. Okay, well I guess I am because I can't find my big scissors. So I'll just leave a decent seam allowance here. I'll probably go sort of along this crease that's already in it. Maybe a little bit wider. Just so there's plenty of room. You can totally measure and like be super accurate and everything if you'd like. I usually, you know, make sure I'm super accurate, especially if I'm making something for somebody else. But this is for me, so I don't give a shit. And then at the top, I usually like to leave a decent seam allowance as well. So we'll just kind of, that's a little too much, we'll cut like straight along there. And meet at the other corner. Perfect. Cut this piece off. So one thing you have to remember too when you're sewing by hand that I have made the mistake of plenty of times is you have to remember to fold the freaking fabric inside out first so that it hides the stitches and the thread and everything. So just always make sure you remember to do that because you'll be pissed, because I was. Okay, and that should be perfect. So it kind of fits right in there. I have to keep my tomato in this box because the meatball will take it upon herself to come and pull the freaking things out. And I'm like, oh my god, you can't do that, you're gonna hurt yourself. So I'm just gonna fold over a little part of the fabric, get my first pin in there. So we're gonna pin the sides up, and then we'll get to sewing. Woohoo. If anybody, random, but if anybody knows a good place to get a cheesesteak in LA, let me know. I have not had one in a long time. I didn't eat meat for a while. I stopped, and then I randomly started to again. When I went back to Jersey, my boyfriend's parents bought like really nice steaks when we got back there, and I was like, I have to eat this. Like, I can't be rude and not eat this steak. It's a beautiful steak. So I ate it, and then now I just eat meat again because I felt guilty. So usually after I pin the side, I'll make sure that it's lined up good, that it's close to the top of the bag, and that there's enough room for me to fold this piece down and attach it, which it looks like there is. And you want to make sure, like, because if I'm sewing right up against this crease, if I'm sewing against this crease right here where I folded it, you want to make sure your bag like fits in between that fold and then the fold on the other side. So let me go ahead and pin up the other side real quick. Alright, so we have everything pinned up on here. So now let's go ahead and get some thread and my needle out. I usually like to try to match the thread if I can, if I have that color to the color that makes up the fabric. So looks like it's a grayish background. This is kind of dark. I think I could get away with actually using this light pink just because it does kind of match with the pattern. So I'm just going to use that. It'll look cute. So to get started, this is just my process also. So if you do things a different way, or if you know a different way, that's amazing. And feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm not an expert sewer or sewist. I don't know. Which one is it? I'm not an expert. I just, you know, do it how I know and what works for me. But if you have any tips, totally leave them in the comments. So we're gonna cut. I always like to leave a little extra to have enough to tie off the ends and everything. It's probably really hard to see this thread. We're gonna do a piece about this long, and it looks like I'm holding nothing, but you can kind of see it. So that's about the length I'll do. And I'm gonna do 2 pieces of thread just to make sure that it is extra durable and the stitches won't come out and that it's strong. So now we're gonna do another piece. And then I always just like cut all my thread at one time so I don't have to. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the opposite side. So that's 1 and here's 2. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces for the other side, but we'll just start with this one. Okay, so there's my thread. You can kind of see it there. So just make sure that the ends are as lined up as they can be. It'll just be easier to thread the needle. Alright, sweet. And then you're going to pull it to about there, just to leave a nice little tail. So we're going to get started with sewing. So the way that I do this is I'll take the pin out at the bottom, come up, take your needle, come up from the bottom, pull it through, and leave a decent sized tail. So like that's good. And then like I said, we're just doing a super basic simple running stitch. You're going to go down and then back up. And then the same thing. I usually do it about 3 times and then I pull it through. So down and up. Down and up. And then I'll push this through, pull it. And then you can see you have 3 little stitches. So I basically just do that till I get to the end of my top pin. So we're just going to continue that real fast. And I promise the next time I do this, I'm going to have my sewing machine all set up and ready to use my sewing machine. So I'm just going to continue doing my little pattern here. And it's going to kind of, since you're doing the 3 stitches at once, it'll like ruffle up a little. You just want to make sure you pull it so that it straightens back out and lays flat. So you go down, up, down, and up, down, and up. I think this is why thimbles were created, because my thumb is like so close to the needle, but I kind of learned how to just feel for it and not stab myself, which is good. I'm curious if there's any other hand sewers watching this video, what stitch do you find works well and like keeps your project staying together? Let me know, because I'm always curious to learn like new ways and new methods of doing things, or like somebody else is more experienced in sewing. I totally am open. Alright, so let's see where that takes us with the bag. So there's the bottom right there. This is the top. So that last stitch takes us right to the top of the bag. So that's good. I wanna stop there so then I have enough room to fold this down and we line it. Now to kind of tie off what we've done, we're gonna take our thread, and the way that I do it is I go back in. So I'll basically do another stitch. So I'll go down and up just one time, pull it through, and then the loop that forms when you're pulling it, I stick the needle through there and pull, and that basically ties it off. And I'll usually do that like twice, just so then I really know it's locked in. You definitely don't want to risk that coming undone. Alright, so I pulled that tight, so there's a good knot there. So we'll go ahead and trim that. And then we also have to do the same thing for the bottom where we started. We have to make sure we lock that one off too. We're going to come up from the bottom, and then we'll do our stitch to tie it off. So you got this little loop. You want to stick your needle through and pull. And I just do a second one just to make sure it's all good and closed up. Okay, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on this side, and I'll meet you back when I'm done. Alright, so we're done sewing both sides together. So everything's all good. And you can see you have a nice seam nail on the inside of the bag. And that's what happens when you fold it inside out, and so on the wrong side, I made that mistake a few times, not doing that. So from here, we are going to go ahead and insert our liner into our bag. So what you'll do is you'll just open the bag up, grab your liner. I usually just put my hand in it. It makes it easier to feed it through to the bottom. And just push that sucker in there. And then we have our extra sticking out, which is good because that's what we're going to fold it over on the inside of the bag. So you need your pins. And what you're going to do is I usually just start by folding one side, and then you kind of just have to fuss with it until you get it where you want it to be. I'll usually start at the corner. I'll line the corner up, so I'll make sure the seam is like right in the middle of where my brass ring is. Then you can fold the other side down, and that should kind of give you a decent idea of where everything's going to sit. So I usually like to get that corner done first, so I'm going to go ahead and pin the corner. And I just go, some people pin vertically. I like going horizontally, I just always have. So we'll get one pin there, and then you just basically work your way around the bag until it's all pinned. Alright, so we have our liner all pinned in place. It's all good to go, so we're ready to start sewing. So, I usually will kind of eyeball how much thread I need. I'll like take it and go around the bag just to see how much I would need to get around the whole bag, and then I do like extra. You always want to make sure you have more than enough thread than not enough, because that's annoying to have to add more thread. And I'll do the same thing where I cut two pieces, and this piece is too long so it doesn't fit like in the frame. So I got two pieces so that everything's nice and sturdy. You can just kind of start wherever you want to start. Sewing is totally fine. I usually go like right next to the corner. I usually start in that spot. So the way that I do it, this is just what works for me, feel free to use any sewing method that you like, is I grab a couple pieces of the yarn and then go into the fabric, and then I pull all of it all the way through, and you want to make sure that you leave probably at least like a 3 to 4 inch tail, so you have enough at the end to like tie it off. So that should be perfect. And that's all that I do the entire way around. I go from the back, and you want to make the stitches like pretty close together. Like that's where my last one ended, and that's how far away I'm starting the next one. So yeah, you're gonna go ahead and grab some of the yarn, go through the fabric, and go nice and slow. Don't try to rush your way through it, because then the thread gets all tangled up, and that is the worst when you have to sit there and unknot it. And then you want to make sure you pull it pretty tight. The first couple stitches you're going to have to hold the tail to make sure you don't pull it out from the other end. I've done that before. And that's all there is to it. It's super simple. So we're just going to continue our way around the entire bag. Obviously this does take a little bit to do. That's why using a sewing machine is a bajillion times more convenient and faster, but I did think too it'd be interesting to show like how to hand sew a liner, because not everybody has access to a sewing machine. So it's something good to know. And then next thing you know, all your friends are asking you if you know how to patch something up for them. Or like hem their pants. Actually, my boyfriend did that to me. He was like, oh, that's good you know how to do that now, because I have a pair of pants. I'm like, okay. But I'm glad, because it's a good learning experience. It's good to know those types of things, you know? I feel like sewing and like fiber art and everything is like we gotta keep that alive, you know? We gotta keep that alive. Slow fashion. That's the good stuff. Alright, so again, show it. Grab a couple pieces of yarn, a couple fibers, go through the back of the fabric, pull, tighten it, and voila. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing this the entire way around, and I will meet you back at the end when we're done sewing our liner in. Alright, so we're getting to my last stitch. Exciting! So I'm just gonna go right through here. And the way we kind of tie this off is super simple. Okay, so I'm just gonna trim this. I'm gonna trim my yarn, but leave enough to tie, or not yarn, my thread, sorry. And then you're gonna take the end you started with, and then that end you just trimmed, and you're just gonna tie a knot. And I'll usually tie it like 4 or 5 times because I just do not want it to come undone no matter what. So I'll just make, what was that, number 3? Yeah, I'll do like 4. 4 should be strong enough. Alright, and you want to make sure it's pulled nice and tight. And then you'll just kind of trim right towards the end. So you want to leave like a little tiny tail. Like really small, but you don't want to cut all the way up to the little knot because you don't want to risk cutting through it. And that's it. So the bag, sorry, I just made my whole desk shake. The bag is aligned. That looks awesome. That looks super cute. I love this pattern with the lavender yarn. It actually, like, it came out great. And our sewing looks nice and clean. If that bothers you, like being able to see the thread kind of going around, then just use a different stitch. But that doesn't bother me. I like the way it looks. And I think it's great. Cool. Alright, so now that our bag is lined, up next is the strap. Guess what? We're gonna do a Romanian cord strap because I love those. Usually when I do a Romanian cord strap, and by the way, I purchased 3 skeins of this dollar store yarn, and like I still have all this left. Like basically, so this is one full one and this one has a ton left. So you could definitely get away with just getting 2 and being more than fine for this project. So for a Romanian cord, I like when it's a little bit thicker. I want it to be a decent thickness. So I'm gonna take 2 pieces of yarn at the same time, just to fatten it up a little bit. So you're gonna do your slip knot. Don't pull it too tight though, because you do have to go through this little knot to start it. And then we're just gonna put that on our hook. From here, you're gonna chain 2. My neighbors are outside, so if you hear them, that's their kid. You're gonna kind of turn it and go through these 2, get that to focus. You're gonna go through these 2 loops from the knot you initially made. Come on, come on. and then you're gonna do a single crochet. So you're gonna yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then you're gonna turn it again to the side, and you see these 2 loops. You're gonna go through those 2 loops. You're gonna yarn over, you're just doing single crochets now. Pull through that first loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And you're just gonna continue that the whole way. You're gonna turn, go through these 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're gonna turn, and that's literally it. We're gonna keep doing this. It can be a little tricky at first to do this Romanian cord, but once you sort of understand where you're going, it makes a lot more sense, and you can kind of just like fly through it, to be honest. It's like my go-to for my go-to strap now. But the first like time or two that I tried it, I was like, excuse me? But yeah, you can see how pretty it looks. Simple, pretty, and it's sturdy. It makes a nice cord. So again, we're turning, going through 2 loops, and then doing a single crochet. Let me know what your guys' go-to straps are. I'm curious. I'm curious if there's any other awesome straps like this that I don't know about. So yeah, that looks super cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Alright, so I'm on my last stitch of my Romanian cord. It looks amazing. I actually wound up making mine a little bit shorter. I personally am not crazy about crossbody bags. I actually like shorter bags a little bit better. So since I'm just making this for me to try it out, I'm keeping it that length, more of a shoulder bag length. But I did just want to show what to do when you're on your last stitch. So to end the Romanian cord, you'll have those same loops on your hook that you've been working with. You'll insert into the 2 loops, and then instead of doing a single crochet, you're just going to slip stitch them closed, like that. And then I'll trim the tail and fasten off, and voila! Alright, so we're finally on the last part, which is sewing the strap onto the brass ring. I already did this one side, and it came out great, so I'm going to show you how to do the other side. It's very, very simple and quick. So you always want to make sure, because I've done this before, that like it's in the right direction, you know? That it's not twisted like that or something before you sew it. So I just like to make sure it's nice and straight. And then I'll kind of line it up. I'll kind of line it up in the middle of the ring where I want it, just to get an idea. So you're going to, what I did, you don't have to do this, you could use new pieces of yarn. I just left the working yarn on there, and then I'm going to sew it with that. It just kind of makes less work. Then you don't have to recut a piece of yarn. So we're going to go ahead and get our yarn needle and thread that piece through. You could do both pieces at once if you wanted to thread it like with both pieces. I did them separately, I don't know why. So the way that I do it, it's super easy. It's basically just like a whip stitch. So I take it and I go through the loop first and pull it through so that it's wrapped around. And then I'm going to go through the back of the strap, and then I'm going to pull through the strap, and now it's secure onto the hoop, and then I'm going to go under the hoop again. And you're just repeating that the entire time until you feel like it's snug and that it's on there good enough for however you want it to feel. So super easy way to attach a strap to a ring, and it makes it look really nice, which is cool. So I'll probably just do that a few more times, just focusing on the left side. Since I have that other piece of yarn, I'll use that to kind of go over everything a second time, just so that it's extra durable. Meatball's meowing. Hi, Meatball. Hi, Meatball. Okay, I think I'm done with that piece, so I'm going to move on to the second piece. And typically you won't have the two pieces. You'll just have the one that you can use, but it's because I started with two pieces of yarn instead of just one roll of yarn. So I'm just going to utilize both of them just to make it extra durable. And you're just going around and around and around. Move over to the middle a little bit. And it actually winds up looking cute too. Like, it sort of forms a little bit of a pattern when you sew the strap on this way, which is nice. Alright, I think it's on there enough for me. So what we're going to do now is you're going to have both of your pieces of yarn going through the loop towards the back. So we're going to turn it over so that we're focused on the back now. And I'm just going to weave them both in like once around a piece of yarn. So I'll put that one through there, and then I'll put this one through another. I'll put it through like right here. Okay, so now they're kind of stuck on the back. So now we're just going to tie them both together. And that'll really secure it. You want to tie it tight. I do like 3 times. And then we're just going to trim the ends. And the bag is complete. Woohoo! There we have it. There's our dollar store bag. That is friggin' cute. I don't care. Hey, I did a pretty good job. And can you believe that this bag, I made it for, let's see, $1.25, $1.25. I only used one full skein of yarn, and then like not even half of a second skein. So it was probably like $2 altogether, maybe like $2.25 for the yarn for this bag, and then the liner was also $1.25. So like $3.50 literally is what it took to make this bag. I did go ahead and add the brass rings. I already had those, so that was good. I already had the thread, so I didn't have to buy that. So for me, yeah, it was only $3.50 to make this bag, which is amazing. This yarn is pretty stretchy, so the strap will stretch. So if you do grab some dollar store yarn and make this bag and make this strap, just keep that in mind. But other than that, I love it. I feel like it looks so cute, and I'm going to use it. I'm probably going to use it for maybe the next week or so, just to kind of see how it holds up, how I like it, and all the things. But yeah, let's see what it looks like on. Alright, let's check out what the bag looks like. Here it is. I love it. Super cute. Yeah, that looks adorable. That came out great. And it's just insane to me that for $3.50, you can have a beautiful crochet bag. Let's put some stuff in it. Throw my phone in there. Throw
hair clip, and how about some yarn, because we're always gonna need yarn. That's super cute. Sweet. I love it. Very cute.
Alright guys, thank you so much if you already watched part 1 of my part 2 videos and now you watch part 2. I hope that you love the outcome of my bag. Overall, I must say that dollar store yarn does hold up. I would totally use it again. If I was in the dollar store, I'd grab a couple rolls, you know, and just make like some kind of simple, easy little project. It can't hurt. It's $1.25. Like, yeah, might as well. Even though I don't need any more yarn, but it's $1.25. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe and like and comment. Let me know what you would make with dollar store yarn. I'm super curious. Let me know if you've ever tried dollar store yarn and what you think of it, or if you're gonna go try it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!